here to support their team. And we are underway from Salem Soccer Stadium in Cary, North Carolina, the home of the ACC Men's Soccer Championship. Till Zinhart on the ball. Plays it back to Charlie Harper, sophomore from Melbourne. Out to Parker O'Farrell. David Bercedo, another one of these transfers. All three of the players atop the top line for North Carolina transferred in for this opportunity to play for championships at North Carolina. Michael, you won a national championship in '07, Wake Forest. Harder physically or mentally to manage the beginning part of these type of matches?
It's more mental because you're getting some of the nerves out. You're getting some of just the anticipation and that bus ride over. I remember just even driving in, I was having memories of being on the bus, whether it's ACC Championship Sunday or being in a college cup. And it's after the first 5 minutes that you really settle down, connecting passes, doing the little things that get your mind and body into the mix.
Which team can settle in? These teams did not play during the regular season. The last time these teams played was last year. A 1-0 win for Clemson. Joey Skinner, no longer with the program, graduate, scored the game-winning goal. From the back line, Gael Gibert, the transfer from Oregon State, plays it out wide to Sean Smart. The only change Mike Noonan made to that 5-1 starting team over Louisville is Smart, number 20 in orange.
Smart's, well, on brand, a smart player. No, but he's an athletic fullback who will get up and down, provide width. He's also tenacious defensively. In that match against Duke, picked up an early yellow card, but showed the intelligence of how to manage a situation. Didn't get many fouls called after the yellow.
Good point, and that was a wild physical game, 3-3, and Clemson prevailed 4-1 in penalties. Arthur Duquesne playing into the channel, looking for Tyler Trimble. In that Duke game, he had 2 goals and drew a penalty, 17 in orange. The sophomore was outstanding.
It goes to show you, too, that when you're a team scoring goals, it's next man up mentality. It doesn't matter if you have the core, which their core has been doing quite well in the regular season, but you insert a piece off the bench, everyone's in that unified front, in that unified mindset, and it shows on the scoreboard for the Tigers.
Alex Meinhard on the ball. Meinhard, another one of these high-level transfers, coming over from Tulsa, was the American Conference Player of the Year back in 2020, first-team All-League. He's now third-team All-ACC once he kind of got his footing under him. 10 goals on the campaign. First corner, Zoran Gibet, third-team All-Conference, newly minted. Drives it in low, flicked on by Sylla. Almost fell to Lundergaard. Sylla keeps it in. Ooh, Gibet hit it off Sylla's head. A little friendly fire, that is not good. And Sylla down. Gibet was just trying to clip it back into the mixer.
Good to see Sylla get back up. Keep an eye when this ball gets in. That's only 5 yards away, and that hurts a ton. In this cold weather, it's not as cold as it's been in some of the ACC championships of years past, but
Any skies, but that's still going to sting no matter what. As the criminal can't keep it in play. Riley Thomas to make the throw. Thomas, second team All-Conference. Harper over to O'Farrell. Bercedo. No call from Shabrov. Maybe a chance for Clemson to spring a little counter. They settle it.
As Clemson has possession, it's good to see them press. Good to see some familiar faces. Brandon Parrish back in the lineup. One of their leaders, one of their captains, one of the members of that national championship squad. He brings a lot of the energy. A box-to-box midfielder. As soon as he presses, wins it. Also has good vision and decision-making to spring the likes of Ousmane Sylla.
He was just on the ball there. Parrish, 11 in the middle of your screen. Second team All-Conference. Really emerged as a huge force in this team. But to your point, he's been out injured. Nathan Richmond's third team All-League. He's been out injured. But the depth of talent Mike Noonan has in this club is evident, especially by the number of goals they scored. 50 goals now, first in the nation. Thomas now getting forward in that right back spot. Errant pass, and Meinhard may be able to go the other way. He will. He's got his head up. Trimnell and Sylla to his right. Flips it back to Sylla in a little bit of space. Dangerous, especially on that right foot. crowded out and then cleared out by Huerman, tracking back.
Those are the moments that Carolina, they need to be mindful of not turning the ball over at midfield. They have the attacking weapons. Clemson doing well to put that fire out. They have the attacking weapons, but it does no good if your front three is turning the ball over. Clemson, it plays right into their hands, and a little tactical wrinkle that the Tigers are making. Usually Ousmane Sylla plays as that lead striker, almost a false nine. Sylla is on that right side of the front three, and you see when Meinhard breaks into the attack, he's looking for the checked run of Ousmane Sylla because he boasts a powerful long-distance shot.
Smart settled. Now Shabdarov, when Smart got cleaned out there, you saw him go down. They played on. He did call a foul, but Clemson had the ball, so they played on. Adam Lundegaard on it. Meinhard, Gibet. Another one that transfers from Oregon State. Passes to his countryman, Gibert, and transfer mate from Oregon State. Cut inside by Smart. Looking for Trimnell, and well read there by Charlie Harper. Lundegaard, redshirt sophomore on it again. Parrish's pass short, picked off by Edwards, but couldn't control. Smart may now have an opportunity to create something. Clips it in. And Duquesne can't run it down. Waiting for a signal, and it will be a UNC throw.
It's the first time we've seen the Tigers get a cross off in the final third, and keep an eye on the front two right there, Trimnell and Meinhard. That's good to see if you're a Clemson fan, because you want to get numbers in the box. It's no good when you have service out wide and you only have one striker in.
What's been different about Carolina? Because they scored 6 goals through their 8 regular season matches in league play. They've scored 8 goals in the last 3 games in this tournament to get themselves in the final. What's been different offensively for them?
They're taking chances. They're more opportunistic. When you see the goals, and you call the game against Wake Forest,
yeah,
it's getting goals from different outlets, but it's players taking a risk. In the regular season, it was almost that hesitation in the final third or in the box. Almost wanted to walk the ball in. Quenzi Huerman, a player who's the only player taking risks, but the likes of Vitchian shooting on sight, letting the ball roll over his body across his shoulder, and then getting a quality shot off. And one thing to add to that as well is subs have made an impact for the Tar Heels off the bench, and we could be seeing a sub coming in soon.
Ahmad Al-Kwak looks like he's getting ready, and we'll come back to that in a minute if in fact he does check in. Huerman can't bring it down. Gibet maintains control. He's got Smart out in front of him. Instead lays it off to Gibert. Mike Noonan wasn't mincing words. We talked about Louisville. He said that 5-1 game, that was our best performance. They were outstanding in that game. Not sure if that's a crossword shot. And yes, there will be an early sub. When we saw this happen in the Wake Forest game, 8 minutes in, Ahmad Al-Kwak came in the game for Martin Vitchian. Vitchian was none too happy, but Al-Kwak scored 8 minutes later in a beauty. This time it's going to be David Bercedo. And in talking to Carlos Samuano about this, he said, hey, with those front three, we've asked them clearly what we want them to do. If you're not doing it, it's tournament time. You're out. So he is not seeing what he wanted from Bercedo. Al-Kwak comes on, who he did save all those guys. Vitchian got taken out. Great mindset. Next game he comes back, scores 2 goals. So they had a great mindset understanding, but you've got to do what is asked of you from the kick, or you're not going to be able to play in these type of games.
As a player, you want that sort of tension, though. You want that standard to be maintained. That's why Carolina are in this game. The standard has not dropped off during the season. They had a bit of a lull, and there was question marks about, can Carolina turn some of those draws, which they had just a stretch where they're getting draws and not wins. Can they turn that around? I think keeping the focus and the mindset fresh on the field, and as a player on the bench, keeping that sense of motivation of, hey, I can make an impact.
Armand almost made an impact as Parrish's touch was a little wayward. Al-Kwak, first touch on the ball. His goal was a beauty against Wake Forest, a curling effort from about 20 yards out. And if you're new to college soccer, subbing in the first half does not mean your day is over. You cannot re-enter in the first half, so Bercedo's done at least to the 45-minute mark, but can enter the game again in the second half. Out to Duquesne, the freshman from Amiens, France. Sylla. Out to Smart.
Down, look how deep Carolina is. That's trademark Carolina defending. That's why they've had quite the number of shutouts and such a low goals against average throughout this season. They have the speed to hit you on the counter, but they want to make it as compact between the lines. It's only, 4 or 5 yards between the midfield three and the back line of Carolina. It's going to take those wide balls, diagonal balls for Clemson from fullback to fullback to break them down.
As Mike Noonan talked about, being able to switch it, play out wide, and get in some 1v1 situations with their outside backs. But it's hard to get to that point when they defend in that as an organized group as they do. Mike Noonan was interesting too, and he said to us, he goes, I've been walking into my staff's offices the last month or so and saying, man, Carolina's good. He just kept saying it and telling them how good Carolina is, although they knew they were not playing him in the regular season. But he is not surprised at all that they've made a run all the way from the first round to the final. Again, only 2 other teams have done that to win it all, with Syracuse back in 2015 and Notre Dame in 21, starting the first round and then winning it all.
When you look at their schedule, you look at their performances throughout the season, they've played a lot of the big names and a lot of the higher-ranked teams at that point of the season. The Wake Forest game, only 1-0. Syracuse, 1-0. And they've also gotten some impressive results by 1 goal.
Smart working on Matt Edwards. Edwards well defended, but he'll stay at the feet of Smart. In some trouble, and then Edwards fouls, and he yells no, but the answer is going to be yes.
It's a good matchup between Edwards and Smart. 2 tenacious fullbacks that they're going to be going toe-to-toe throughout the 90 minutes.
And we saw Edwards, who's usually a right back, but in that Wake game, they switched him with Riley Thomas, and doing the same thing today. Come back to why that tactical decision as Edwards on the left back again. Duquesne and Sylla over it. See who takes it. Duquesne, the lefty, floated. And Sam Williams has got it. Sophomore's got his head up. He's got Armand to his right. And he's got Riley Thomas advancing as well. Thomas on the ball and crowded out by Smart. Meinhard's touch takes him out.
And on that break, that's where Carolina can really get after Clemson. Because Carolina is sitting so far back, it's going to invite Clemson to put a lot of numbers forward. Both fullbacks want to get high starting positions. And then when you get on the break, you have to make the right decision and the right execution on the service. Riley Thomas has a cultured right foot, tries to hit that early cross, but didn't have the right numbers in advance of him.
Jabay wins the ball in the middle, finds Parrish. What do you make of that tactical switch with Thomas and Edwards? Thomas is a natural center back, and he's been that way for almost 60 games now for Carlos Zamwana, but the last month they've played him out wide due to injuries and really just trying to get the best players in the field, 15 white and 26 white, switching fullback positions like that.
I think sometimes it can be to what their strengths is. You look at certain matchups, and on that left-hand side, it's speed versus speed. Smart, very fast fullback. Edwards as well has pace of his own, and the positioning there, he's not going to give Smart an inch. Look at how much he closes down, and then it makes it predictable for the near side center back to come over. On the near side with Riley Thomas, it's the reading of the game. He's not going to go out. He's not going to try and go 1v1 with the likes of Meinhard and Duquesne. I think it's more to get him in the build-up to be quality in possession. He can break lines as a former center back. He can break lines in possession, and that gets the likes of Quenzi Huerman going, and that's a player you want on the ball as much as possible.
Cortez take the goal kick, third in the nation in goals against average, second in save percentage. Was a third-choice keeper when the season started. Worked his way into getting those first spots due to some injury, but once he got those gloves, he has not let him go. Oh, Adam Lundegaard has got himself in trouble.
If Lundegaard would have watched the game against Syracuse, he'd be very mindful of not being lackadaisical on the ball. That's how Carolina got their first goal, is back pressing of Huerman and then playing the slide rule pass to Vichian.
Yeah, they were opportunistic in that game against Syracuse, the defending conference and national champs. Ball played into the feet of Trimnell. Plays it back to Duquesne. A slag in there by Andrew Czech. Duquesne coming off a 3-assist game against Louisville. That 5-1 demolition of the Cards. collision behind the ball. Check fouled by Duquesne. We talk about experience a lot and experience in these tournaments. I mean, Clemson has some institutional knowledge in this game as Czech gets working on some treatment here. They've been to this spot now 4 to 5 years. They lost last year in the semifinal, or excuse me, lost this year in the final. Semifinal before that. They've won it in 2020. Number of those guys, though, on the 2021 national team are back. You had guys, 9 guys played in that game last year that are on this roster right now. How much does that experience factor in a game like this?
It's everything. You're already seeing it with how much possession Clemson have had. They're putting the game on their terms. They're not flustered. Anytime they get broken down, they're getting numbers back. I think it reminds me of when I was at Wake Forest. We had a ton of experience in the ACC Championship games, although we lost. I'm not going to name the teams. Or the
his whole body just changed, by the way. He's like, oh, we lost.
That's going back some bad memories there, but I remember that even in the Final Four. You pick something up, you learn your lessons from the season before, and when you and I did the game in last year's ACC tournament, I thought Syracuse, they won the match in midfield by really bringing the intensity and pressing Clemson and then getting their goals and being opportunistic. So far, Clemson, they've learned from that, and they're the aggressors so far in this half.
Mike Noonan said, I mean, even the logistics of where we're going, where we're staying, the field, like we've been here a lot. Nice take by Duquesne. And Riley Thomas rides him off for a goal kick. Well defended by Thomas, showing you why he's second team all-league.
Good positioning from Thomas. He wasn't going to bite. He knows that Duquesne has a left foot. And right there, as soon as Duquesne wants to shift it over to that left side, that's 50-50. And the referee's never going to call that, or else I'd be on the field to protest.
You can hop down there?
Well,
nimble.
It might take me a while.
Sylla, good control, 2-time first-team All-ACC player. Been all-league every year he's been at Clemson. Bitchian pressing Lundergaard, who skips right by him. He's got smart on the big switch. He sees him. Good ball. Chance to get off a cross. Nope. Edwards is there again.
Carolina doing a good job of dealing with those diagonals and getting numbers, overloading on that flank. They want to keep and pin Clemson. As soon as the ball gets switched, they want to pin Clemson to that side. But the Tigers, this is where that they can break them down, is moving it quickly from one side to the other.
Lundergaard, through ball to Duquesne. He does track it down. Oh, headed in by Meinhard, but not on frame. Back to Popmar Boy. We haven't said his name. Freshman, all-freshman team, third-team all-conference, an absolute stud from Senegal. Might fall to an opportunity here, but good covering by Meinhard.
Meinhard had to get that on the money because Trimnell was in. Trimnell doing well to spin off the shoulder of Charlie Harper.
Played around the corner. Sylla, great touch. Still opportunity, lays it off for Meinhard. Poke shot! Just wide.
What a play, what a touch, what a moment from Ousmane Sylla. Silky smooth. Right there, that touch, it's almost like the ball is on a rope on his boot, and Meinhard leaning back, doesn't set his feet. That combination between Sylla and Smart, they're really creating for Clemson. As soon as he unbalances Carolina, Meinhard has to do better there. Not enough pressure on there. You have to get it on target.
Yeah. Meinhard is a goal scorer. Sylla's got 9 assists on the campaign, along with 9 goals, second in the conference in points. We kind of saw a lot of his skill on display right there. There aren't many guys like Sylla in the league or in college soccer. When you don't see him in a regular season, how hard is it to kind of adjust on the fly here?
It's really difficult. I think Carolina, they will have watched certain tapes, and it doesn't take long when you watch Clemson to know, okay, that's the best player on the field, and I'll take it one step further. I think he's one of the best players in the nation. The stats may not show it, but the influence that he has over this Clemson side, he does so much. It's not just getting goals, it's creating, it's controlling the tempo for the Tigers that makes him so dangerous in the final third.
Pass left short. turned over. Alquak on it. Great ball to check. Not the cross you're going to make.
Disappointing from Andrew Czech. An Energizer Bunny, a player who's going to go box to box, but lacking that final action.
One of the rare forays forward for Carolina so far. But they've gotten used to that this year defensively. College basketball season underway. We got a great women's matchup for you. UConn taking on NC State in Raleigh. 3 o'clock Eastern on ABC. That is 2 heavyweights right there. And then on ESPN again, Indiana faces Stanford at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Top 15 clash there in women's hoops. Great Sunday of hoops, soccer, American football too, but we don't care about that much right now.
You're doing some hoops earlier this week, no?
I did Duke and Arizona game. I didn't do the game, but we did some hits before the game.
Nice.
Great environment there. First time John Shire has lost a home game at Cameron. As Arizona beat Duke by 5, I believe. Quenzi Huerman tries to backheel it to keep it in play. Popmar just riding Vichian. Popmar's physicality is impressive for a freshman.
I had to do a double take when we were preparing for this game and going through. It's like, okay, he's got to be a grad student. There's no way he's a freshman.
No, freshman from Montverde Academy. Pipeline here to play for Coach Noonan, and he is a physical specimen.
It's going to be a good matchup to watch throughout this game. Vichian's big part of his game is the hold-up play. And Pop, my boy, big part of his game is laying some lumber in those tackles.
Huerman just crosses up Lundergaard. That's not the pass he wanted. Sylla. Oh, just gets clattered. Laid out by O'Farrell. And he's down. Now Edwards and Smart kind of get into it. A few extracurriculars here. Dimitar Shavdarov, the referee, slowly walks over to get in between.
We're going to see more of that in this match. Carolina, they're going to be physical with a skilled player like Sylla. Sylla evades the first tackle, but keep an eye on O'Farrell. And that's where the foul happens. Right there, O'Farrell trying to back press. Clumsy foul in the end.
Mike Noonan giving a little earful to Michael Laverne. I think he probably wanted a yellow card. He's a little bit of a gripe there. I mean, thoughts?
O'Farrell knew what he was doing and left some afters.
Meaty
challenge. That shows you, though, that the referee's going to let this game play out. He's going to let some physicality in this game. And
do you prefer that in finals to allow it to be a little?
Love that.
Okay.
Love that. I hate when the referee blows the whistle, has the whistle almost taped to his lips in a final like this, because you got to let them play. You got to let the players get that tension out. There's a lot at stake in a game like this.
Vichian hooks it forward. Smart will head it all the way back to Joseph Andema. First time we've mentioned him. 22 minutes in. Sophomore from Ghana.
I think he's just gone from strength to strength with each game, each experience. I remember last year filling the big boots of George Marks, who left his mark on this Clemson program.
Slide rule pass by Sylla, but Cortez is off his line. But you're right, George Marks, an outstanding career, was the captain and leader of that team that won the 2021 National Championship, the 2020 ACC Championship. But Andema took the gloves from Trevor Mannion, who was kind of the incumbent or expected #1 starter beginning of October last year, and never relinquished him as a freshman for a team that, of course, as we mentioned, went to the ACC final, lost in the second round of the tournament to UCLA, but Andema has gotten a very, very talented young man on the ball now.
That right there, that's where he earned the starting position. He's so exceptional with his feet. He's an undersized goalkeeper, and that's something that you can't change, but he's brave, he's a shot stopper, but it's the quality in the build-out with his feet that sets him apart.
Had a big save to start that shootout with Duke. Penalty shootout, which just Duke really struggled, but part of that was Andema making a big save on the opening shot. Edwards looking long for Vichian. Can't bring it down. And Popmar, once he's in front, he just, well, he almost turned it over. He just unnecessarily played the ball. Should he have let that just trickle out for a goal kick?
He definitely should have. And I think when you're so physically gifted, there's a sense of overconfidence that you can get. And if anything, with the back pressing of Vichy, he probably could have started dribbling out, maybe trying to get the foul. But right there, when you make that decision, you got to play to the goalkeeper. Taking the extra touch is what forces that errant turnover. He's there, he's dribbling. That extra touch right there, you don't need to dribble anymore. Your goalkeeper and Dema's calling for it. Just play him, trust him, and then you get out of that pressure.
Kind of giving away an opportunity here. First corner of the match, floated in toward the spot, flicked on, headed down, and then Dema controls. Obviously have the ACC final going on right now, but around the country got some big conference finals. Big East, Georgetown and Xavier. They kicked off at 11 a.m. Eastern time. They're in the first half still 0-0. Georgetown, the number 3 team in the nation. And in the Big Ten, those are your first and second seeds in the Big Ten. But obviously Indiana played for the championship last year and fell to Syracuse on this very field. But 0-0 against a good Penn State team. Neither team ranked right now. Both teams had been ranked throughout the course of the season. We'll see where the winner goes, and then everybody will know their spot in the bracket tomorrow. By tomorrow afternoon, the bracket will be set by the selection committee. 48 teams, the top 16 get a bye and are guaranteed a home spot, which is critical. If you're in the top 4, though, Michael, you can host all the way through the quarterfinals up until the College Cup. When you look at the ACC at large, how many teams do you think will get in the big dance?
9.
9?
I think Pitt gets in because that quality win, it's all about quality wins. When you look at RPIs, and when you put all the chips on the table, the best win that they had, best performance of the season that they had was against the Wake Forest team in Deacons. And it wasn't just getting a 1-0 win, 3-0. That's a statement win, and the committee will realize that.
Sylla with space. He tried to bring it down. Instead of head it, and eventually crowded out.
Ousmane Sylla growing in this match. It's the first time we've seen him come to that near post. He's been operating on that right flank and in the half spaces. Duquesne, good recognition, floats that ball in, and right there, he should have gone for the header. Tries to take it off his chest, and I think it's that false sense of security you can get when you're that good, like Sylla. But if he does a glancing header at the near post, then that's a goal.
He's not known for his headers, and there he kind of missed an opportunity. We have another sub coming in for North Carolina, another game changer for them. Ernest Bawa checks in the match. He had 2 goals in that 4-1 win against Virginia Tech in the first round of the tournament. So him and Al Kwok have been known to make a difference, and both are in this match. Let's see if they can do that. Bawa, the senior from Ghana, on it now.
It's been a different role that he's been playing coming off the bench. Last year he was a starter, getting more solid minutes, and head coach Carlos Samoano was talking to us about that, of how the buy-in has grown, and that's why this team has grown, is impact players coming off the bench. And it sometimes when you're there, whether it's college soccer at the pros or the youth level, you really have to accept the role that you're given. Your roles change through the course of the season, but once you accept that, then the whole canvas and your whole mentality changes.
Played up to Meinhard. Turned over, check on it. Check again. Back to Sam Williams. Oh, Bawa cleaned out by Duquesne. He doesn't agree, but it seemed obvious from this vantage point. And it seemed obvious to Dimitar Shabdarov, too.
Nothing you could argue there if you're Duquesne. Comes through the back of Bawa. And Bawa knows what he's doing. He wants that ball. That ball's zipped in there, but keep an eye on Bawa. He gets that right leg in front and establishes position. Duquesne thinking he gets ball, but he definitely gets man first.
Chance now for Carolina to bring some of their center backs forward. Meinhard and Harper. Bawa's there, as is Sam Williams. Williams, 3rd-team All-ACC, the sophomore. Bawa to take. Space. Wasn't a good purchase by Charlie Harper, but had a look. Second corner of the match for the Heels.
For as good as Clemson are offensively on set pieces, I think that's where they can be got. Defensive set pieces. Charlie Harper peeling back. Look at the movement. The whole back line is anticipating running towards their goal. Harper, just that checking of his run, creates that half space, creates that separation space. Bawa, the exceptional delivery. Clemson getting the deflection in the end.
Low ball driven in, first time shot. Smart though, deflects it. O'Farrell's shot didn't get there. And check taken out. North Carolina starting to turn the screws on the Tigers a bit.
It's both fullbacks for the Tigers that have gotten back-to-back fouls. That's where, as I said, you can get at this Clemson side. Duke got at them on set pieces. Previous teams have scored set piece goals against them. They high press, they're tenacious, but sometimes that tenacity can get you into trouble.
They allow about a goal a game, 0.99 goals against average. That's 5th in the conference, so not bad, but like to your point, there are opportunities. The thing is, they score 2.99 goals a game, so a little different. Bawa again. They have gone for goal there. Shot wide. Aqua couldn't really sort his feet out.
It's put under just enough pressure by Ousmane Sylla. I think that throws him off balance.
Folks making the drive from Chapel Hill, making their voices heard. Good for them, because they got a lot going on. Field hockey's playing an NCAA second-round match against Harvard on their field right now. Men's basketball kicks off in about an hour and a half. They got a women's basketball against Davidson tonight, so a very successful athletic program at UNC, but fans coming out to carry to support. Smart draws a corner. Second of the match. Edwards unhappy, but
Clemson getting ready to take this set piece. Two players that can make an instant impact on this next opportunity. Potmar Boy with his physical presence.
Playing it short. Played back, now clipped in, looking for Boy. They'll find the feet of Sylla though. Kept in, played up into space. And to your point, Joubert and Potmar Boy, the center backs who are forward, are still staying forward. They're slowly jogging back as hit forward. Dama way off his line. We'll let it trickle into the box and can scoop it up. Parrish. Played to the feet, not to the channel.
You look at the shift in possession, shift in this first half. Carolina starting to settle in a bit more. Clemson turning the ball over. That front three, when you get the ball to them, they can make things happen. But the Tigers are way better when they're more methodical in their buildup than trying to slam the ball forward. That's when they're turning it over left and right.
Parrish lets it roll across his body, finds Smart. Sophomore from Florida. Joubert, good find. Frenchman, Duquesne on it. Off a cross, but floats out harmlessly. Breaking the action. All right, Tuesday's a big day on the sporting calendar. The 13th annual State Farm Champions Classic from Chicago. Number 2, Duke, coming off that loss, as I mentioned, to Arizona, taking on Michigan State. It was already upset by James Madison, number 4 in the nation. That's a top 5 clash. That game's at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Then we have the exclusive reveal of the top 25 for the college football playoff race. Reese and the guys will break it down, give you all the insight you need to know between games. And after that, 9:30 Eastern time, you've got Kansas and Kentucky, 2 of the winningest programs in the history of the sport. Coach Cal's got a lot of young talent back on that team, a lot of NBA players. Kansas got a lot of dudes that have had a lot of success in recent years, a little veteran group versus a more of a rookie team. It'll be a great night on Tuesday. Play to the feet of Sylla, rides a challenge, looking forward and They're complaining for a back pass, but no, that just got kind of deflected off to the feet of Cortez.
Ousmane Sylla, that's the half space, the pockets of space that he can really hurt this Carolina side. He checks his run, does the opposing movement of moving forward, coming back, and then getting in front of that back four. As soon as he gets it, drives in. Unfortunate deflection because Meinhard would have been in. And that's the quality that you have in Ousmane Sylla. Once he gets the ball at his feet, you have to give him options because he'll find you. He can thread the needle.
Goes out the touch. And Thomas quickly restarts, gets Davichian. Battling with Chibé. Parker O'Farrell, not touch as you wanted. Harper misjudges it. Meinhard crowded out though. Boyd brings it down. Davichian looks like it's a handball, no call. Chibé, head up. Pinged out wide to Smart. Meinhard, a little bit of space. He can hit it from there. Trimnell. A reverse pass. Gets through to Smart. Parrish, nice turn. Gets a shot off. Complains for a handball, none given.
As we see, I think they may have a...
We'll take a look at that penalty shout here in a minute. And Boyd's pass shorted a little bit. We're under 10 minutes here. Clemson building in pressure. Smart. Clips it in, headed out by Harper. Parrish looking for Trimnell. He goes down hard as Cortez comes out and claims, and that looked awkward and painful. We're going to take a look at the handball shout because Tyler Trimnell's going to potentially get treatment. We will take a look at that collision as well, but let's look at this first. Is there a legitimate gripe here?
I think there is. When Parrish shoots this, keep an eye. It's that hand away from the body.
Ooh.
That's inside the box. That's a handball, Talon. The hand is making itself bigger than the frame of the body, and per the ruling, and this is going to be, as you said, that left ankle right there. Cortez has every right to go for it. The referee does a smart thing by not calling it, but a missed call because that was in the box and that was a handball.
It cannot be reviewed in college soccer if it's not called. If Dimitar Shavdarov made the call on the field, they then could go take a look at it. Those are experimental rules within the ACC and 5 other conferences this year. So that is active today. If he would have called the penalty, he can go review it at the monitor to confirm it, but you cannot look at it if you did not call it. There's no other VAR, watching a screen like we are right now in other parts of the world. In professional soccer, it's not the same. So Clemson not going to love that when they see the replay of that, or their fans for that matter. Couple subs here, both number 8s. You always split 8s, Michael. Jamison Charles checks in for North Carolina. And Elton Chifumba comes in for Clemson. Chifumba, a veteran of this program. So is Charles. Getting more minutes than he ever has, Charles, this year. Of his 20 appearances, 18 on the season. This year he comes in. And Chifumba has been playing in an integral part of this program. As I mentioned, he was a starter on that last year's team. Got a lot of minutes the year they won the national championship in 2021 as well. He comes in for Brandon Parrish. Sorry, he came in for Tyler Trimnell.
Well, Chifamba on the field, look for Brandon Parrish to get higher involved and to start higher up the field and maybe even have more of an attacking midfield central role for Clemson.
Duquesne's cross finds the head of Edwards. Bawa wins the ball. He can burn, but caught up to by Lundegaard. And then crowded out. Fouled, though, by Duquesne.
Those are going to be the little inches, the little decisions, the little movements that Carolina does to move the mark in their favor in this game. And they've already had half chances on set pieces. Ernest Bawa proving to be an impact sub so far in this first half. His recognition of where pressure is, where pressure is coming from, I think really stands out to me.
And Carlos Solano didn't mince words. When we did their last game against UVA in the regular season finale, he said, we need more off our bench. Well, Bawa and Al-Kwak have given you more off your bench in this tournament run. Here's a chance now. He drives it in. Well done by Gibet to come back and cover. Sam Williams on it. There's Charles on the ball. His first touch. Al-Kwak handled well. Itchian skips past Gibert. And the Frenchman recovers well.
Brilliant defending from Gibert. He was beat with the first touch. I think it's recognizing what foot your opponent, what's the strongest foot of your opponent, and cuts off the angle of Itchian going towards goal.
Chifamba, that's what he does. Wins the ball in the middle of the park. Al-Kwak couldn't get his feet sorted again. Sylla accelerates. Leaves it from Meinhard. Gibet sprays it out to Smart. Under 5 minutes in the first half. Turned over. Good step by Boy. Halftime, we'll be joined by ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips. Come in and chat with us. Before that, though, we'll chat with one of the coaches. If it's a draw, we will hear from Mike Noonan, get his thoughts in the first 45. Little combination. Edwards getting forward one of the first times this match. Inverted spot, out to check.
Carolina knocked the ball around. Sam Williams, just an exceptional deep line playmaker, exceptional defensive midfielder.
Ball played in. Boy, Williams' first time shot, dragged wide.
His positioning's been spot on. Clemson, they've had to probe the ball from side to side because Williams has been that stopgap, in front of that back four. For a young player, he has such maturity about him and a vital presence for Carolina.
Brandon Parrish, second team all-conference. First game back since the end of the regular season. Chifamba to Sylla. Parrish. Headed out by Charles, but kept in by Gibet. To Gibert. Strikes it. Right in the stomach of Cordes. No goal there, but we do have a goal in the Big Ten final. Indiana, Samuel Sarver. The sprightly forward scores in the 38th minute, puts them up 1-0 over Penn State. Todd Yeagley and crew looking to win yet another Big Ten tournament championship, which would be just, what they've done there is insane. But they have gotten to 2 of the last 3 college cups, and 2 of the last 3 finals, but did lose those matches here on this pitch. One to Marshall and one last year to Syracuse.
There's just certain programs in college soccer that get hot at the right time. Indiana this year didn't start the season in Indiana fashion we're used to seeing, where they're fortress at home, they're good at the start of the season, but they're a team that you put them up there with what Pitt did last year. You don't want to play the Indianas, the Pitts, the Virginias when they're hot at the right time.
Charles, a little bit of space now. Finds Alquak. Alquak over to Vichian. He hits the deck. Turf Monster got him. Williams. Thomas will keep it in. Popmar steps right in front, intercepts.
It's the difference between the semifinals and this game. The presence, the positioning of Boy. That matchup with he and Vichian, that's where the game will be won and lost for Carolina. And so far, Boy has the edge. Reading it like a book each time the entry pass is made.
Pass intercepted. We'll have a change here. Mason Jimenez.
1 minute remaining in the half.
The freshman from San Diego comes in for Parrish.
And stepping onto the pitch for
Doesn't
Clemson.
log a ton of minutes. Again, only his
Number
10th
16,
game of the campaign.
Jimenez.
But just will spell Parrish for the last
He
minute.
replaces 11, Brandon Parrish.
Out to Duquesne. Under 30 seconds we go. Andrew Check intercepts. And Thomas will play it down the channel, pretty much essentially ending the first half. Michael,
9.
we'll go to break. 0-0. Not that many opportunities. Your thoughts in the first 45?
It's been a cagey match. It's been a chess match. Neither team wants to lose. It's going to open up in the second half, though. Tired minds, tired bodies is going to create gaps and spaces for attackers to exploit.
Again, North Carolina, level of intensity. We'll see if they turn that around. Dimitar Shavgarov blows the whistle. Second half is off and running. Michael LaHood, Dallin Cuff here with you from Cary, North Carolina. Your thoughts on what Carlos just said about his team's first half performance?
I think maybe it's a bit harsh. They got the intensity right. How they started the first 15, 20 minutes, I agree with that spot on, but they picked up the intensity. They probably started getting back in the game in that middle block of the first half. I do agree most of all about the being brave. I don't think they were as brave as they have been in this ACC tournament. They need to be confident. They deserve to be here. They played Syracuse off the park. They beat a good
In Syracuse.
Forest. Yeah, in
snowy
Syracuse. They beat a good Wake Forest side, so you have to believe in yourself. Now is not the time to lose your confidence in front of goal.
We'll see if they can pick up where they left off in this tournament. 8 goals scored in 3 games. They had 6 goals in the 8 matches in regular season play all year. So they've turned it on as of late. Sean Smart just kind of rolls it, tried to get a cross off, goes into the hands of Andrew Cordes. So what are some of the keys coming out in the second half here for you, Mike?
I'd say getting, and so glad that you asked about Quenzi Huerman getting involved in the game. I think he was so isolated in that first half, staying as a winger on this left hand, on the right-hand side. He's at his best when he's interplaying and interchanging, combining with Vichian. You're no good to Vichian, who's a hold-up player. He wants people to play with. And when Bawa came in, you saw him have more of an impact where he was floating in those half spaces, not just staying out wide. If you're going to stay out wide, do something more than loose passes. And I think loose passing from the likes of Huerman was why he got yanked.
And Huerman is right there addressing the ball for Carolina. White 11, excuse me. First team All-ACC player, transfer from Seton Hall. He was an All-Big East player. Transferred from a D2 school before that. He was an All-American at the D2 level. He's shown out wherever he's been since he came over to the States from France. But he needs to do that in this match. They'll break the deadlock.
And we were talking early on in the match about experience and how that matters. Experience allows you to be confident in a moment like this. Inexperience, you wilt in the face of the pressure of a championship game.
Again, this Clemson team just joining us have made it to this final 4 times in 5 years. That is remarkable. They won it back in 2020. Early ball played in right to the arms of Joseph Van Dema. Lost the final last year to Syracuse 2-0. Lost the final 2019 to UVA, a team that went on to lose the final of the national tournament in heartbreaking fashion and penalties here One of the best college soccer games I've ever seen with them in Georgetown.
Look at the players that are on that Virginia team. Your Bright DKs, your Henry Kesslers. Ooh, they're not doing so bad at the next level.
Pretty well. DK's been great once he's had his chance in spells over in England. Obviously, Kessler's been great here in the MLS. Edwards picks the pocket of Smart. This has been a fun battle all game. Edwards decides to keep it. Eventually gets it to Alquak's feet. Check now springing forward on the right. Plays the through ball to him. Could be an opportunity for the Heels. Huerman cuts it back. Quenzi! It's in off the post! Then he's got to step up. He does just that. His 10th goal of the campaign. It gives the Heels the 1-0 advantage.
Credit to Ahmed Alquak for driving the Tar Heels forward. Big players have to step up in big games. Quenzi Huerman has been the biggest player for Carolina throughout the season. Keep an eye on his movement. In the first half, he was drifting out wide. This is the first time he's central in the box. You don't score goals from out wide. You get them by gambling, making runs in the box. Keep an eye on the pass. Andrew Check, first time he's getting involved. Box-to-box midfielder. Huerman, as soon as he gets that first touchdown, composes himself, picks out that bottom corner. That is what Carolina Tar Heel soccer is about this season.
And you mentioned Alquak. Credit him and credit Carlos Zambrano. Subbed him, again, 8 minutes into this game, just like he did in the quarterfinal against Wake Forest. He leaves him on to start the second half as opposed to David Bercedo. And he helps, great little ball play through to Check, drove him forward. And then Huerman, great movement and finish. 1-0.
When you watch Carolina, remember watching that Carolina-Syracuse game, they have a 4-3-3, but it's a different movement from the wide players that unbalances you. Alquak, he's starting on this left-hand side, but he comes in almost like an attacking midfielder. When Edwards plays him the ball, he wants to turn and then use his pace to drive forward. And the errant pass that we saw in the first half, or too many errant passes from Carolina, it's taking that extra step, that extra touch, and forcing someone to commit. And he commits the entire Clemson back line. That's why he can play the slide rule pass to Andrew Check, who does the rest, finding Huerman for the goal.
Again, this Carolina team, one of the best defensive teams in the country. 4th in the nation in terms of goals against average. With Cortez back there, they've been even better. He's 3rd individually, but you look at Clemson, the #1 scoring team in the nation, just under 3 goals a game. They've scored 50 goals in the season. Need to find a way to flip the script here. But that Carolina defense also, team I should say, has not allowed 2 goals in a match all year. So the Tigers do have their work cut out for them right now.
One thing that Clemson will take solace in is they're pretty balanced in the ACC tournament in terms of when they score their goals. And they've got 4 second-half goals so far in the ACC tournament, including overtime, extra time, if you will. So they're a team that grows in. They never say die, and they never wilt.
Piccini battling with Popmar Boy. Turns it over. Sylla trying to find the feet of Trimble, and he does! Flags up. Saved anyway by Cortez.
Warning sign from the Tigers. So often you see it in soccer that once you score, you're immediately vulnerable. There's a feel-good feeling. The errant turnover from Bitchian leads to the worst possible thing, almost the worst possible thing. Inch-perfect pass from Ousmane Sylla. Trimble, he was leading the line, running off the shoulders of the entire back line for Carolina. And Cortez, whew, what a big save. You have to see the play through to the final whistle.
It was tight, but again, it didn't matter. Cortez made the save, and Trimble didn't know that flag was going up. Cortez 2nd in the nation in save percentage. Been absolutely outstanding all year long. 88.9%. Sam Williams on the ball. To the feet of Sylla, pocket of space. He's driving forward. He can give it a hit. And they got a little crossed up there.
Sylla, and he's going at the heart of Carolina. He's finding the half spaces in between the likes of Andrew Check and Sam Williams, which is a great pocket of space to find. But then the decision-making again in the first half, it was to take it off the chest rather than going for the header. That one, he has one of the best long-distance shots in and around the goals, and you've called a lot of them down over the years. Have to shoot that.
He has scored 20 goals in his career, and he can definitely put one on you from outside the box. North Carolina 7-0-1 when scoring first this year. Clemson 2-3-1 when conceding first. And you look back at that USF game, Mike Noonan made a point of that earlier in the year, saying, hey, we grew up in that game. We went down, we weren't playing well against a tough USF team on the road, come back and win that 3-2. So it's not a completely unfamiliar position.
You're not going to get flustered. It's the experience. It's the winning experience, a championship winning experience that allows you to still believe in what you're doing. And it also comes from the sideline with your coach, who is such a stoic figure, stoic presence for the Tigers, and Mike Noonan.
Played out to Smart. Clemson hasn't made many substitutions. I mean, we've got a couple in the midfield, but Remy Lola, the freshman, had an outstanding game their last match out. Had a goal and an assist, a beautiful goal to start the game, start the scoring against Louisville, which they won 5-1. Mohamed Say, who's been dealing with injury, Say scored, and the last time they won this championship in 2020, he was a goal scorer in the 2-1 win over Pitt, but he is battling injuries, the grad student. See if he comes on and makes a cameo. With Brandon Parrish to take this free kick. Big center backs are forward. 2, Popmar Boy, 27, El Jaber as well. And Parrish. Interesting. I don't think he meant to do that, but put Cortez under a little bit of pressure.
You and I were looking, leaning, looking, looking.
Where our angle is, we're looking at the ball. I'm like, is that going to somehow curve over his head? What's going on?
Boy. And judging by the body language of Cortez, I think he had a a little bit of moment, but comfortable save.
Clock. Ooh, that's not a good turnover. Meinhard is past too much for Sylla, though.
That's where Carolina needs to sharpen up if they're going to maintain this lead.
You just heard Sermano, right? That he started clapping. He wants to see his team maintain the intensity level, and it seems like as soon as they scored, it's come down a little bit.
You get a lax sense of confidence, a lax sense of maybe not confidence, but a lax sense of everything is going to be okay. We got this, and not against Clemson. The last thing that you want to do, you need to do, is let your guard down.
Big switch out to Ahmad Al-Kwak. Doesn't control it very well, so now under pressure. Parker O'Farrell. North Carolina looking to win their first ACC men's soccer championship since 2011, year where they won the national title as well in Carlos Zamorano's rookie campaign. And a little something was left on Arthur Duquesne there. By Huerman. And Clemson looking for another ACC tournament championship. It would be their 5th. Last time they did it was in 2020. Mike Noonan done it one other time in 2014. And with North Carolina being a 7th in the RPI right now, they win this thing. Oof. A top 4, I mean, that seems very reasonable, right?
We've been looking at the scores from some of the other tournament championships going on today. Because of how strong the ACC is as a conference as a whole, look at the number of teams in the top 25, the RPIs.
Yep.
Being at the summit, that will be massive for you because you want to get as many home games as possible. The teams that have done the best this season have been the teams that have been so good at home. Clemson, amazing at home. Wake Forest, amazing at home. Notre Dame, amazing at home. So you want to take home field advantage into the NCAA tournament.
And again, the top 16 teams in the committee's bracket tomorrow will get a bye into the first round. The top 4, and they will host their first round match at least, trying for a big switch. Too much on that. But what a discussion. The top 4, you get your bye, but you are guaranteed home games until the College Cup in Louisville. So you play the whole tournament at home. And if North Carolina wins the ACC tournament en route getting there, the teams they beat, obviously beating Wake and beating Cuse. Wake's a top 10 team in RPI. Cuse a little bit lower now in the 20s. But you beat Clemson as well. I mean, I think that's going to carry quite a bit of weight, and you might find yourself in that top 4. probably with Notre Dame, too. Notre Dame's number 2 in the RPI, and they've earned it all year. Unbeaten in league play until the quarterfinal here, which is a crazy game against Louisville.
If my memory, which sometimes can get totally hazy in this cold weather, serves me right, the Carolina teams that have gone to the College Cup have had the home field advantage. Going to play at Dorrance Field is a difficult place to go. The crowd gets into it. The campus gets into it.
And they've been successful. They made their last College Cup back in the 2020 College Cup 2020 season, which was the year that was, because of COVID, a fall and a spring campaign. Kwok does get a cross off. Huerman couldn't bring it under his spell. Parrish's touch is heavy. Check, looking for Huerman. Boy sees the ball first, though.
Brandon Parrish, someone has to talk to him because that's a cardinal sin as a center midfielder, turning blind without taking a look. For an experienced player, that's an absolute no-no, and he gets bailed out by Boy.
Parrish on it again. Nice ball, pinged out to Smart. Cross in a dangerous area. Trimble did get a foot on it, but there's Cordes again.
There's one player who looks most likely in this second half to get something, or get on the end of something. It's Tyler Trimble. Look at him. He's running off the shoulder again and cutting across the face of Zinhart. He forces the errant clearance, the errant touch from Zinhart. Cordes, the positioning and the footwork of Cordes, he's hunched over. He's anticipating that something might go wrong. That's why he makes the save.
Williams is down. Cordes, you always want to see young men get rewarded for great attitude, and he was their starter last year. Had some struggles, and Carlos Zamorano told us, yeah, coming into this year, he was a third-choice keeper, and he came in, worked every day, had the right mentality. There were injuries in front of him, but all the effort he put in, he never complained, never said anything in the offseason where he knew he was on the depth chart, and then when he had his opportunity, he's taken it, and he's run with it. I mean, he's top 3 in the nation in goals against average and save percentage, anchor one of the best defenses in the country.
When you watch him, when you watch players like him, in a story like that, I always look at the body language. Yeah. He seems settled.
Stepping on for the Clemson
Coach
Tigers.
Zamorano was talking to us about that, but the biggest difference is he knows who he is. Off the field, knowing who you are, having a settled life off the field, it translates to success on the field.
He's been great. Okunlola just checked in the match, the freshman from Lawrenceville, Georgia. We talked about him having a great game against Louisville. He was outstanding. That was our last round game, 5-1 win, a goal and assist, a beautiful goal to start off the scoring, too. And Vichian's going to make way for David Bercedo. Bercedo did start the match, the grad student from Quinnipiac. He was subbed quickly to see how he... How hard is that, Michael? You start a game in a final. Hold on, come back to that in a second. If Parrish is going to try to move this forward. Smart on it. Out to Okunlola. His first touch. He's dangerous. Cuts inside. Pass picked off. There's Bercedo, who's on it now. How challenging is that to... You start a game, you get benched in a matter of minutes, and then you come back in the second half. How hard is that?
It's extremely challenging, but the way to just get out of your own way, get out of your mental state that sometimes a lot of players will be disgruntled, will be upset, is working hard, doing the character-driven things. And speaking of working hard, a player who's worked really hard and seems to be in a bit of pain is Sam Williams.
Sam Williams, third team all-conference this year, struggling. He is their metronome in the midfield, making his 30th career start for UNC as a sophomore. New York Red Bull Academy product, was one of 2 U.S. national team under-19 call-ups from the college ranks last summer. And you don't want to see that as he gets some treatment. We'll tell you about the other scores going on around the country right now. Other conference title games are in action, and WVU up on Marshall, who WV broke Marshall's unbeaten run about 2 weeks ago. Now up on them again. Sergio Navarro scores in the 18th minute, puts them up 1-0. Georgetown and Xavier are in overtime in the Big East. Double overtime in the Big East, 0-0. SMU and Charlotte will play in the American game later today. In the Big Ten, Indiana and Penn State underway and scoreless now as well.
With Williams on the ground, Carolina will be hoping, pleading for him to be okay because they don't have a replacement.
He's the only guy that can do that job. Not only at that level.
Yeah, no. Looks like it's cramping, and with Carolina sitting back and defending for large portions of that first half, and that's part of their DNA, part of their game. That's going to happen. Hopefully they got of MJ special stuff in there.
MJ special stuff. And he's still stretching it out. Now he's back on the pitch now. Again, if you're new to college soccer, he can be subbed out. You can come out in the second half and re-enter the match, but he will not take that breather. See Williams still working on it, trying to stretch it out as he came back on in that transition. Bercedo, cut off by Boy. Underguard, ooh, heavy challenge. Meinhard charging forward, got Okunlola to his left, still riding the challenge. Pass to Parrish is off, but Smart picks it up. It falls to Sylla. Could be the right guy for the Tigers. He pulls it wide.
Much better from Ousmane Sylla. I know the shot was errant, the accuracy not there, but it's good to see him shoot. A player who's going to evade the first tackle, and it's almost automatic when he gets the ball in tight spaces. That's a big part of his game. Errant passing and loose turnovers from Carolina, but drawing two defenders towards him is going to create that parting of the Red Sea and the gap right there. And he loses his balance. If he doesn't lose his balance, he takes that in stride. I think it has a better outcome than what we saw.
Driven out to Alquak. Tried a little reverse pass to O'Farrell. Ball finds his feet again, though. He's driving forward. He's going to hit it. Strikes it. Boyd deflects it. Duquesne can't clear. Heels keep it in. Huerman dinks it forward, almost to Bercedo. Quickly out to Sean Smart.
Quack, such a tricky customer. When he gets you close, sometimes it's having, I'd say, not the most physically coordinated looking player on the field that is the most elusive.
Unorthodox sometimes.
Unorthodox, there we go. Looking for the Oxford.
Strange clearance by Cordes. Duquesne lays it off to Meinhard. Chabet. Oh, falls through to Smart. Oh, complaints for a handball. Shabdarov waves it off again. There was a shout in the first half, and as we saw it, it was a penalty in the box you could easily have given that was not given. And again, these things can be reviewed, but you have to call them on the field initially to then use the video review. Take a quick look at that. And you got another heel down.
Smart trying to send this ball in. No. That's off the chest. No, definitely off the chest. Good call from the referee.
Well done by Shabdarov there. You take a look clearly off the chest of Matt Edwards.
Yeah. And good recognition from Edwards. His arms are a little bit outstretched, but he turns his body at the last second, knowing he's in a vulnerable position.
And Alquak, who was integral in that first goal. So Alquak was going to come out for Ernest Bawa anyway.
Hands back onto the pitch.
And now he limps off, but he was integral in the goal they scored.
Number 20.
Playing that ball to Czech, and then Czech got the assist. But they do give 2 assists in college soccer. I think he still, there was a couple touches. He still should have got one.
I would definitely give it to him. What a story he's been, though. Coming to life at the right time, in the right places. In the last, since the semifinals, since the quarterfinals, and this game, he's been a big factor.
Huge factor.
Getting assists, getting goals, and
the only goal,
creating chances.
Yeah, the game winner in Wake Forest, 16 minutes into the match, 8 minutes after coming on. We tick under 26 minutes here. Welcome to Cary, North Carolina, alongside Michael LaHood. I'm Dallin Cuff, the ACC Men's Soccer Championship Final. Clemson in familiar territory. 4th time in 5 years they've been here. But they've only claimed 1 title in that stretch. The 2020 year they beat Pitt 2-1. North Carolina has not won this championship since 2011. Haven't been here since 18. And if they win, there would be 7 different champs in 7 years, showing how good and deep this conference is, how hard it is to win this tournament. But we've got a lot of way to go here before they can do that. Brandon Parrish plays it in, looking back post, headed down by Pop Marboy, out. I'll tell you about a huge game of college basketball coming up on Tuesday, the 13th annual State Farms Championship Classic. Tuesday, United Center in Chicago, number 2 versus number 4, Duke and Michigan State, who've already lost early in the season. They're going to be hungry to win that game. It's going to be outstanding. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Then the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and crew break it all down for you in between games. And then Kentucky and Kansas, a top 20 matchup squaring off with the number 1 team in the nation, the Jayhawks. That always feels like the unofficial start to the men's college basketball season.
Yeah. I feel like in the last couple of years, your Kansas, your Dukes, and you're changing 1 and 2. The start of the polls.
Yeah,
then chaos happens.
Exactly. The preseason things are all about brand and recruiting classes. But I'll tell you what, folks, if you're looking at your bracket in March, you want older teams. That's who gets to the Final Four. That's who wins, especially in this transfer era, this era of 5- and 6-year guys. It's been pretty proven out with the rosters the last 3 years to have a veteran crew to win it all.
Looking at the most recent Final Four run and tournament, where would you put that in terms of upsets, in terms of excitement? Because we were watching it. We were on the edge of our seats the whole time.
It was wild. Florida Atlantic getting to where they got to, obviously. That team starts as a top 10 team, but nobody sneaking up on nobody this year. And, obviously, having a team, again, the Miami getting there was surprising, to say the least. So, yeah, it was a pretty wild tournament. Oh, off Perseido's arm. They don't call it. Wow. Oh. Uh-oh, skip forward. This could lead to something, too. Bawa on a foot race with Gilbert, and now the foul is called. And they are on Dimitar Shavdarov, the official. And Lundergaard may get a card for his, for his services, if you will. But he has a gripe.
He has every right to be screaming, shouting at this, because this is a clear handball on Perseido.
And a yellow card has been issued to Clemson's number 3.
And if that gets called early,
Adam Lundergaard.
it doesn't set up this dangerous set-piece opportunity for Carolina. Refereeing decisions can change games. And not the foul there. Nothing on there from Czech. But going back to Perseido, that's the foul there. That's a big call missed from the referee.
Now, regardless of what happened there, we'll try to show you in a minute. They will have a dangerous attacking set piece. Flipped in by Bawa. Smart. Clears. Bawa battling. He wins that, and he goes down. And they will say it's a foul outside of the box. And Sam Williams is running in saying video review, which this can be reviewed. This is not an experimental rule. This is in from last year. So it's across the country. You can look if a foul occurs inside or outside of the box. And Dimitar Shavdarov blew the whistle. We're going to skip that handball in the middle. Now we have a new incident to adjudicate.
Always the drama, always a point of concern. When you get a foul, it's the pulling on the shorts right there. And that's close, but it's just outside the box. I think inconclusive evidence. You want to go the more cautionary call on that. It'd be a harsh call to say inside the box. I think Bawa was already falling in, trying to bait the referee into the call, but there's a clear foul.
Because the foul started outside of the box is why we do that way. And Mike Noonan's upset about the review situation here. And again, he has a gripe from the first half, but this is what can be reviewed, and this has been in stone since last year. These are not the experimental rules. You can look, you see that determine whether a goal has been scored or not, identify players in disciplinary matters, determine a fight occurred, and review whether a foul occurred inside or outside of the box. Those are across the country. The other experimental rules about a handball in the box, if a red card should or should not have been given, denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, those are in the ACC and 4 other conferences. So we have those available today. And Dimitar Shavdarov is confirming, and now Mike Noonan's yelling about the handball in midfield, which again is what this whole thing even started.
Yeah.
So it should not even be, we shouldn't even be discussing this. So I understand why he's upset, because that was a missed handball in midfield there.
I'm glad that this isn't result. I know Clemson fans and Mike Noonan will be feeling aggrieved that it still sets up a dangerous opportunity, but talk about compounding a situation from a previous, what should have been a handball, if it ends up in a penalty.
So Jabay gets a yellow card as well off of this. So you got Lundergaard and Jabay incurred a yellow card, one for dissent for Lundergaard, and Jabay because the play there that continued on. Tension's running high here, obviously. All to play for. ACC Men's Soccer Championship on the line. And here, chance for Carolina to double their advantage.
Keep an eye on the space. Sam Williams near side for a first-time finish.
Sam Williams 7 unmarked, and they will play it actually to Bawa. He drives it, doesn't get through. Herman keeps it in, the goal scorer.
Number 6.
The lefty trying to get to that strong foot and get up across. Lays it off to check. Bawa brought it down but couldn't control it. North Carolina applying pressure. Martin Vici now looking to check in. Grad student from Harvard, 2-time All-League player in the Ivy League. Grad transfers in, born in Slovakia, grew up there, part of their youth national team setup. He trots on. Jackson Robel makes his first appearance in the game. Atlanta United Academy product, a transfer from Wofford. A SoCon level player.
Number 9, Martin Vici. He replaces 11, Quenzi Huerman.
Paris trying to control it, finally does. Somebody lost a shin pad. They will continue on, obviously. Parrish, a big switch out to Duquesne, who tried to head it down to Meinhard.
It's good vision, good execution from Brandon Parrish. If Duquesne is able to put that down and bring that down sooner, he had the 2v1 with Meinhard making the run, waiting for him to have that slip pass in behind.
Robel's first touch on the ball. What needs to change for Clemson to break this deadlock here? They're the #1 scoring team in the country, haven't had many opportunities. What needs to be different?
I think getting the ball to Ousmane Sylla, essentially, they had their best chances in the first half, and in the second half, when their intricate passing between the two center midfielders, Parrish picking up his head, Jabay picking up his head, and making that entry pass into Ousmane Sylla, checking in between the lines there, and then turning, driving, going to goal. The last thing that's been missing, though, Sylla hasn't been shooting. He's been trying to make one too many passes in the final third. They need to get shots off in the box.
Meinhard tries to get a cross into the box. Vitchian tries to pop it past Popmar Boy. Algie Bear then to help as well. Vitchian goes down quite easily, doesn't even ask for a foul, continues to fight. He clips it in, and Briseida was arriving, but Lundergaard, big-time header. Check. Good block. Lundergaard, 2 big plays there. Robel.
Coach Samoano, out of the half, was talking about picking up the energy, being brave. Vitchian, really brave to keep that play alive. It's 1v2 and create something out of nothing.
Got a couple players down now. We've got Sam Williams down again, and you've got a Tiger down as well. So Williams still having that leg issue. And then Jackson Robel, who just checked in the match, is down in a heap. See Brandon Parrish stretching. You got a lot of different guys. A lot of minutes. This tournament is tough, and now Carolina's 4th game in this tournament. Williams has to come off because of the treatment, stop play, and Carlos Zamorano came on the pitch. They would only be the 3rd team to run 4 matches in this ACC Championship and win. Syracuse did it in 15. Notre Dame did it in 21. These are 4 high-level games in about a 10-day stretch, or 2-week stretch, excuse me, not easy.
And going to 2 really difficult places to play. Winston-Salem and going up north in the cold, the quick turnaround, the long travel.
Exactly.
I think you're starting to see that pile up. When you look at subs coming in, subs making an impact for Carolina, if you want to have a healthy Sam Williams, at a certain point, you're going to have to give him a breather. If you're Carlos Zamorano, Williams clearly not looking good, keeps going down, stretching that hamstring. He's a player that you cannot afford to lose because you're going the distance with him in a match like this.
Yeah, comparatively to Clemson, they played 2 home games, and now the Duke game was a battle, 3-3 going into penalties after overtime periods. But then a 5-1 beating of Louisville where they had almost everybody on the bench played. Now you get some minutes, and you get some minutes. It was like an Oprah show.
They looked energized and refreshed, and sometimes the emotions of penalty shootouts and going the distance against a rival like Duke can give you that extra edge, and they definitely played like they had a bit between their teeth in that Louisville match.
And Ahmad Al-Kwak looks to check in. Just a quick break for Al-Kwak and Herman. Herman, the goal scorer, 1st team All-ACC player, number 11. Al-Kwak was integral in setting up that goal that Herman scored in the 49th minute. That's the difference right now.
Substitutions for the Tar Heels. Stepping on, our number 11, Quenzi
Huerman has
Huerman.
to be applauded, given some good quality minutes off the bench.
34, Ahmad Al-Kwak.
Player on that break,
The
pass into him from Andrew Check.
And 20.
It pushes Carolina, gets their lines up after what should have been a handball, but that's neither here nor there. Would have been a lot. Would have been the biggest.
The fact that there was
point.
no goal scored allows it to move on, but there were 2 yellows that resulted at that. So those may be coming back into play. And obviously there was the handball in the first half. It should have been a penalty for Clemson, so they're going to feel a little hard done right now, but they got 18 minutes to change this thing up. Boyd comes forward. Scott Duquesne out to his left, but plays short to Sylla. Lundegaard. Up. Sylla. Roble. Pinged out to Duquesne. They got some bodies in the box. They serve it. Falls to Sylla. Complaints for a handball from Carolina's guys. Not going to get it. We take a... Sylla again tries to bring that down on his chest. In tight space.
Unorthodox from Ousmane Sylla. There's bodies in there, 4 bodies for Clemson. And yet again, another opportunity from Sylla to use his head. The flight of the ball is there. Carolina, Charlie Harper misjudges that. If Sylla approaches it, if he goes towards the ball and maybe gives a powerful header, he's rooted to the ground, the defender is. You're not going to get 2 touches in the box in a match like this. Carolina, they don't give you a sniff. You might get only 1/2 chance, 1/2 second. You got to be more clinical when you get a chance like that.
It's the 2nd time in this game. We don't really critique Ousmane Sylla much when it comes to scoring goals, but does it so well. 2nd in the conference in points this year, sets up goals as well. But maybe 2 heading opportunities he did not take, try to bring it down on his chest. One in the first, one in the second half. Duquesne plays it in. Falls again. Off of Edwards, and Cortez is there.
Cortez had to be there. Wow, Carolina being put under some pressure. Brandon Parrish, much better from him, and Clemson getting him in the box in the first half. Didn't see him much involved outside of dictating play from deep. That's where he makes his scholarship count, is making those late runs as a box-to-box midfielder in support of that front 3.
Duquesne lets it roll out.
With Carolina sitting so deep, at a certain point, I think the player who could change this game, Mohamed Say. Physical presence, good in the air. You're going to get crosses. You have quality crossing.
Oh, what a deflection there by Lundegaard, because Huerman was in acres of space behind. We'll come back to Mohamed Say in a second. Nice move by Huerman. Looking for Viccian, but boy, just cool as you like. Mohamed Say, though, is injured, and he's able to play, but it's in a certain fraction of his total capability. And we'll see how many minutes. He did give minutes in the Duke game. He gave some minutes in the Louisville game as well. So maybe he is warming up.
He could be that game-changing presence that Clemson desperately needs.
He's getting ready. Here we go. He was warming up, but now he's changing, putting his shirt on. And again, he scored in the 2020 final, the one they won, when they beat Pitt 2-1. He could come and change this game again. Okunlola runs out of room. Well won by Gibert. Gibert on it.
Give you a ton of credit switching between Gibert and Gibert so quickly.
It took about 6 years of French.
Yeah.
I can say about 4 words, and there are 2 of them. So that's good.
We and goal?
No, goal's not even one. Gibert head up as Brandon Parrish is down. The ball flipped over to him, to another Frenchman, Arthur Duquesne. Served in some dangerous balls the last 2 times down that flank. We're under 15 minutes here. And then just a little confusion between Roble and Duquesne. Floated long for Viccian. Headed down the path of Huerman. Early ball. Gibert, well done.
Had to get that right. If not, Alquac was in.
Game starting to get stretched a little bit here.
Yeah, I'd say so. Clemson.
Oh, whoa, Meinhard just, that was like a horse collar in football. Easy card there, because he was past Till Zinhard.
Much better from Meinhard, and he looks shaken up right now.
A yellow card has been issued to North Carolina's number 2. Till Zinhard.
Look at this aggressive touch from Meinhard, recognizing that he has the beating of Zinhard. Zinhard has to make that tackle, or else Meinhard's going to go towards the end line. He has runners. He had 3 teammates who get it picked out with a cutback pass. But now Zinhard has to play with a ton of pressure on that yellow card. He's a physical defender. He's aggressive when he goes in for tackles.
That was a physical challenge and awkward fall. Good to see Meinhard is up. He's transferred from Tulsa, first team player of the year in that league. First team multiple times in that league, but now a 3rd team all-league ACC player. He's in the middle of the fray now, 15 in orange. And Sylla ready to take the free kick. Lays it off for Parrish, who drives it. Popped out. Duquesne trying to win the foot race with Williams. He does. And then Williams clears it nicely.
Ousmane Sylla makes the wrong decision. It makes it so easy when you play a 2-yard pass to Brandon Parrish. There's a ton of numbers in the box. And Clemson changing things up with our main man, Mohamed Say.
So Say does get a chance here. The grad student from Valencia, Spain, 6'3", he's got great feet, playing injured yet again. Played on a torn ACL the year they won the national championship in 2021. A very tough young man that can score goals. He's done it throughout his career. 23 goals in his career. Could come on and change the game just like he did when they won this in 2020, one of the 2 goal scorers. Sean Smart also checked back in. 3rd corner of the match for Clemson now. Back post, they've got numbers. Say gets his head to it, but couldn't get it back across frame. And now you take a look at his career numbers. Needless to say, he's almost played 80 games. Goals, assists, he's been an all-league player. He's kind of done it all. Won national championship, this conference championship. What does his inclusion in this game do for Mike Noonan's team?
It gives him a focal point. It gives Ousmane Sylla someone to play off of. Ousmane Sylla can now play centrally as your attacking midfielder. It's probably going to switch to a 3-5-2 with Sylla at the 10, Meinhard and Say as your 2 lead strikers. And that's what you want if you're Clemson, because the 2 lead strikers, they'll push the line with their vertical movement. Sylla will pull the strings underneath. And please, Ousmane Sylla, for Clemson's sake, you got to shoot the ball.
Rare. You don't usually have to tell him that, but we'll see what happens. As you see Sylla now playing a little more underneath in that 10 role, where he's featured all over the field for Mike Noonan for years, as Mike said before. Uzi goes where he wants. He just goes where he wants, and that's effective to say the least. And tough for other teams to track. Attempt to be played in behind. And Dama calls off Boy and clears it. Tomorrow night, Monday Night Football Week 10 matchup features Russell Wilson and the Broncos taking on Josh Allen and the Bills, 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes. Peyton and Eli got you on ESPN2 as well. See the Bills can get back on track here. Ditchian battling with Boy. Wins that battle. Jabay looking for assistance, finds it in Sylla. Pings it out to Edwards.
I take it back down. I was saying 3-5-2 looks more like a 4-3-3 with Sylla as one of the 2 attacking midfielders. Parrish pushing higher up as well.
Parrish on the ball. Finds Meinhard. A lot of attacking options out here for this team in orange. Parrish controls. Tried to go around Riley Thomas. That didn't work. Thomas, though, skipping by. Plays it to Vitchian. Vitchian's got an opportunity to get it to O'Farrell, and O'Farrell had nothing but green grass in front of him, but played it wide to Al-Kwak. Okay, we'll get back to Farrell now. He's got more support. Edwards in the box. Flipped in, appeals for handball, none given. Al-Kwak crowded out.
Those are the differences of being brave and being safe, and O'Farrell choosing to be too safe on that play. When you have that open acre of space, you got to take it. And it's not about scoring the goal. It's just about taking it towards the corner flag, taking it towards the end line. Clemson, you let them off the hook because it allows them to recover, and that's outside the box there.
Just take a look at that. Try to show you we get a shot. There's a shout from Carolina for a penalty for a handball. It looked like it was on the arm, but it was outside the box. We'll show you when it goes out to play. Say got a piece, and just off of him. We are down to 9 minutes now. Let's take a look at this.
It's about the positioning, number one. Is he inside the box or is he not? The answer is no, and I think that that's still a clean call of saying no free kick because the arm, it's up, but it's still close enough to the body.
Okay. Veman Holvik just checked in the match. He's been dealing with some injury issues. The grad student from Norway, the transfer from Elon, the CAA Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's played that outside back spot for them. And we'll see where he positions here because he's traditionally been an outside back for them, but obviously they've got those 4 subbed in for Al-Kwak, an attacking player, so it might be time to hunker down for Carlos Samuano. And now there's another Carolina player down at the midfield line.
He replaces 34.
Martin Vitchian, he's down in a heap. We'll see if he gets treatment. He'll have to come off the pitch. We'll see how this looks, but I mean, I assume you agree with Samuano right now, subbing an attacker for more of a defensive player and kind of hunkering down here at the end.
It's providing more solidarity to that back line, and it's going to be more of a back 5, if anything. Without Kwak not on there, you're going to try and hit on the counter with your front 2 and Huerman on that far side, the right side. It's going to put more onus on Vitchian to hold the ball up, and you hit that long diagonal. You pick up your head if Farrell can hit it. No, he can't.
Well, Vitchian did a great job of holding it. You were talking him through it. Held it up nicely, went to Farrell, and he had a different idea with it. Ticking down to 8 minutes. Carolina 8 minutes away from winning their first ACC championship since 2011. Clemson trying to spoil that party, get an equalizer, and get this thing to overtime. Turned over. And Williams in hard on Gibet. Both are down now. Williams has been on the pitch a number of times throughout the course of this game. Gibet peeled off the deck, or at least trying to be by Sylla, and eventually gets up.
If anything, you'd expect Gibet to be the one who takes the brunt of this. And
sorry, that was Huerman, pardon me.
Huerman comes across his countryman.
And Huerman, yeah.
Clips him in the ankle.
Friendly fire, France on French violence there. Huerman goes into the book too. So he's got a goal and a card today. He's up a little worse for wear. Chance now again for Clemson to put this ball in the box. Well, they drive it out to Duquesne first. Now they'll, maybe not. Sylla. Gibet. Sylla in some space. Loves that right foot. Oh! He always delivers! You wanted him to shoot. He takes the shot and scores. 10th goal of the season, and showing you why he is a two-time first-team all-league player and wants to do something he's never done, hoist this trophy.
Clemson has been knocking at the door in this second half. Ousmane Sylla finds an excellent pocket of space. He shifts, such a shifty customer. And he's definitely shifting the tide of this game in Clemson's favor. Just that checking of the shot right there opens the gap. And he opens Clemson's scoring, curls it in and around the back line of North Carolina. This is a class goal from a class player. And Ousmane Sylla, their talisman, their everything in attack. Sylla's loving it, saying, not on my watch, baby. Clemson back in this game.
He delivered it in their moment of need. And we're all even now, one up. And both coaches made substitutions to go back to a formation or the formations we've seen before. Adam Lundegaard rejoined the match. It's like they're back in their 3-4-3 alignment. At least a three-back system. Clemson hyped though, thinks, hey, we're the leading scoring team in the nation. We don't need to go to overtime. Let's go.
When Carolina got their goal and they started trying to sit in their defensive bunker. I almost wondered if it was too soon. You do that when there's less than maybe 4 minutes, 3 minutes. It takes Clemson changing it up. Mohamed Say on the field. Another big body, a focal point, which allows Ousmane Sylla space to operate underneath. And it results in a goal.
See, Ernest Bawa he takes a foul there. He came back in the match for Holman, Holvik. So that was, again, their shift from a more defensive player, came out for more of their offensive winger in Bawa. So kind of going back to their normal look.
Prior to the goal, there was a yellow card. Assessed North Carolina's number 11, Quenzi Huerman. And at the restart, substitution for Clemson. Stepping on was number 3, Adam Lundegaard. He replaced 30, Remy Okunlola.
Lundegaard carries it forward, finds Sylla in some space.
Ernest Bawa. He replaces number 4.
Gibert. Out to Smart.
Quenzi Huerman.
Vitchian almost got it to the feet of Bawa.
After that goal, see Carolina slowing the game down a bit. They don't want this game to be high tempo. Clemson, you want to feed off of the energy, the change in momentum.
Say, fresh, forcing Harper back to a tough spot to Cordes. He cannot touch that with his hands on a back pass. Barely gets rid of it. Great effort by Say to press there. Under 5:30.
You look at the body language of both sides. Carolina looked the more labored side. Clemson, they've had much of the possession. And if you're Carolina, you want this to go into extra time, to overtime. If you're Clemson, you're feeding off the energy. You want to win this in regulation, and they very well could.
Smart can't get off the cross, but does generate a corner. 4th of the match. And again, with Say, you've got another big body in there. Popmar Boyd trots forward, as does Gael Gibert. Gibert scored a nice header in that last game against Louisville.
Corner kick coming up for the Tigers.
Third in the nation in total corners. This Clemson team, they eclipsed Notre Dame in conference play, getting just about 8 a match. They're below that average, but they are dangerous.
Arthur Duquesne to take the
The
corner.
last couple set pieces, Clemson, they've targeted that back post, but there's a big gap, Carolina, there at that mid-block at the near post. If you can get a change of a runner for a glancing header, you got a goal.
Duquesne. Cortez gets the punch on it. Bawa's clearance not great. Williams is better. Breaking the action, we'll tell you about our Week 12 ACC Network football lineup, starting with the Hokies. Virginia Tech taking on the Wolfpack from Blacksburg at 3:30 Eastern. We'll cap the day with Syracuse taking on Georgia Tech at 8 Eastern. Both games are also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. That Duke-Carolina game last night was bananas, as Carolina held on to win by 2 in overtime against their rival.
I think this is the time of year in all sports, especially you look at college football, that if teams are going to drop one, it's right about now, except if you're Georgia, Michigan.
We'll find out, but it's a critical time for them, but this is the time on the pitch right now. ACC Men's Soccer Championship hanging in the balance, 1-1 here from Cary, North Carolina. Under 4 minutes to play. That's Michael LaHood. I'm Dallin Cuff. Ousmane Sylla goal was the difference. Equalized just a few minutes ago in the 83rd minute. Quenzi Huerman had the opener in the 49th minute. The 1-2 was smart. And that goes out in touch for a goal kick. So you feel like Carolina would be, as Matt Edwards is down now. He says, no, don't come talk to me. I'm going to get up. Do not send anybody over. He finally gets up to his feet. He waved off treatment. But what I was going to say is North Carolina, you think they prefer to play for the draw right now, get us into overtime, get resettled.
Yeah, you look at the number of games they've played, and you see how many players are on the ground. They're starting to feel the accumulation of minutes, miles traveled. They want this game played at a slower tempo at this point in this match. Get to the break, get repositioned. For Clemson, they're looking for one half chance. It's not even a full chance, one half chance. You don't want this game to take a break.
Early ball played, and Dama comes and grabs it. The crowd trying to come to life and spur their Tar Heels forward. As you mentioned, they just came at a tough trip to Wake with this drive, though. Bad turnover to bad area. Bitchian lays it off to Huerman. Wants to get it back on that left foot. Oh, laid it off for check. Not what you wanted to see there for Carlos Samwana.
Andrew Check caught into two minds.
Another
He uses the
Tigers
wrong club.
substitution. Stepping on is 30.
Huerman, a left-footed player, left-footed winger. He's always going to cut it back on his left boot. And right there, rather than going for the cross, that has to be a shot if you're Check. And you see it in his run up to the ball. Never looked confident in striking it. It shows him where the ball went.
Remy Okunlola, the freshman, just checked in for Sean Smart. Say trying to win the header. Duquesne drives it. Cortez challenged from there. Okunlola scoops it up. He's clipped by Edwards. That'll give him a chance to put a dangerous ball in. The clock is stopped. Audacious effort by Duquesne, but he made Cortez work.
Well, a good recognition. That aggressive touch there. Edwards, clumsy foul. He didn't need to use the arms. And we've seen tired plays from Carolina, energetic plays from Clemson, and what a moment this would be if it results in a goal.
Brandon Parrish over it, as is Arthur Duquesne. Parrish. Sylla again? Drives it, deflects, but it will be a goal kick.
The windup looked good. The execution, not so much.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute.
Pinged out to Okunlola. We're under a minute. Cortez just drops back and scoops it up.
With the wind blowing.
It is whipping. You can see it in the flags. We can feel it right now on my nose.
Yeah. Not the only one in that department. So with the wind blowing, that's something to keep an eye on as we approach this overtime period. Carolina playing against the wind right now. That's why they're forcing turnovers. Clemson, can they pull something off here?
25 seconds. I'll say if he could have settled it, he might have had one more attack. Just cleared out. 20 now. O'Farrell happy just to blast it long.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
And that one's headed out.
5, 4, 3.
And all is even after 90 minutes here in Cary, North Carolina. 2 goals in the second half. Quenzi Huerman, 49th minute. Ousmane Sylla, the 83rd. Your thoughts on the second 45 and where we stand right now, Michael LaHood?
It was always going to take moments of brilliance in a closely contested match, and both teams getting a moment of brilliance. Early on in the first half, Carolina looked the better team, almost sucker punching Clemson on the count.
Every year, if Carolina wins, it'll be 7 straight years of that. If Clemson wins, it'll be our first repeater. They did it in 2020. Dimitar Shabdarov is our center official. 20 more minutes ahead of us, folks. 2 10-minute periods. If we are still deadlocked, we are going to a penalty shootout. We're underway, and from a tactical perspective, do you think teams are going to go? Both teams will go back to what they did when the match was even, because they made a lot of changes to get this thing to 1-1. When Carolina was up, they went more defensive, and obviously Clemson went more offensive.
I think Clemson will. You already see it with the likes of Tyler Trimnell coming back in, and his movement, vertical movement, caused problems. He probably should have scored if he timed it right, and it was judged to be offside in the end, but had a good look on the Cortez save. For Carolina, it looks to be more of a defensive shape that they're pulling off. They sat bunkered in for large parts of that first half, large parts of the second half. They're looking to hit on one golden moment on the counter. Clemson, it's breaking down by 10,000 passes for a clean look at goal.
Fitchian holds it up well. Matt Edwards, out to O'Farrell.
It's the first time we've seen Edwards get into that half space coming centrally. The last time we saw that, they scored a goal. Yep. It was him winning the ball, him driving, splitting Clemson midfielders, and then playing the ball to Alquak, which resulted in a finish ultimately for Quenzi Huerman.
And Brandon Parrish just sat down in the middle of the field. He asked for a sub, and Elton Chifamba is getting ready to sub. He loses second-team All-ACC player in Parrish, who's been coming back from injuries, missed the last few games, trying to stretch out. And you replace him with Chifamba, a guy that's played 56 games for Clemson, played in a national championship game, played it in ACC tournament games, obviously in an ACC final last year as a starter. So, again, the experience and talent of this Clemson roster is deep, but Parrish, they offer something different. What does Chifamba bring into this game? What do you lose with Parrish?
With Parrish, it's the ability to cover ground, the ability to have more of a box-to-box presence late on in the game. He was getting in, he had that opportunity with the missed header, with the cross from Albert Duquesne on the left. Chifamba, he's going to be more of a measured approach. He's going to try and battle for second balls. His one job is to just lock down the likes of Sam Williams in terms of dictating possession for Carolina.
Parker O'Farrell sprays it out to Riley Thomas, Tar Heels captain. Williams' pass just off.
Uncharacteristic from him. Doesn't miss many passes in midfield.
Carolina extending their press. They have not done that much today. Putting Ndema under a little bit of pressure. He turns it. Bay to the chest of Sylla. He can't turn. Thought he was clipped, no call. Wawa goes down, no call. Shielding the ball and looking for Huerman, and Kane's going to win that race.
Carolina now in possession, trying to steady themselves, and surprised to see them be the team that was desperate for the whistle to blow and now be the team pressure the two sides. Rolling the ball, having more of the possession.
They need that because they were chasing the ball for a long time in that second half. And for a big chunk of the first, to be honest.
Yeah.
Wawa keeps it in. Chifamba. Oh, Wawa and hard on Chifamba. And the junior from Ohio stays down, gets up a little slowly. Grew up in the Columbus Crew Academy.
Some tough tackles. See as much. Looked worse in real time.
It did.
Then I think Wawa, I don't even think he clipped him that hard in the end, but I think maybe the lunging in is what the referee sees from his angle.
Trimnell down on the channel, battling with Meinhard. Wins a corner. Fifth of the match for the Tigers.
Corner kick upcoming for the Tigers.
And shaking quickly. Duquesne floats it back post. He's got Gibert there. Off the line. Clemson almost caught him napping.
I thought that was the moment. And you could hear Cordes screaming, watch it short, watch it short.
Duquesne floats it back post again. Gibert attacking. Center back still on it. Okunlola. Floated forward, looking for Boy, but Cordes comes out to claim. Thought this might have been the moment for Gibert. He scored the last match against Louisville.
He chose a wise time to gamble. Keep an eye on this. The ball gets floated in. So many Tar Heel defenders going to that mid-goal, going to the penalty spot. Gibert goes and peels wide. He does the right thing to try and loop the header back across the frame of goal. I think he maybe even went for the header on goal. Why not? In a game like this, you're that wide open.
Riley Thomas was there to take control. Keep it off the line. Williams able to get that out to Vitchian. Big play by Williams to keep that from turnover. Now at least advance the ball forward. Huerman on it. Good ball, but Ndema read it well.
Defending from Lundegaard as well. Andrew Czech making that late run from midfield. They've already cashed in once on Czech's box-to-box presence. Lundegaard saw it the whole way. Because he runs in stride with Czech, it creates a space for Ndema to come and collect.
Okunlola.
Clemson in possession. It's been intricate, but you need to pick up the pace if they're going to get a goal. The switch is on. Duquesne on that left-hand side. I think that's one of the big differences when you lose a player like Brandon Parrish. Parrish, he can pick that pass out. He sees it, he picks it. Which Mfambali wants to play more short passing, more intricate with his combination play in midfield.
Duquesne. 3 minutes left in the first overtime. We will be going to a second, regardless if somebody scores. Meinhard, deflected by Harper, falls out to Chifamba. He walks forward, deflects again. The steam was taken out of it, and Cordes controls. And you can see that is Parrish right now. He was getting some treatment Again, he's missed the last few matches, trying to come back from injury. He's started this match, logged a lot of minutes. See if he can rejoin the fray. If you come out in the first overtime, you can come back in the second overtime. Your day is not done, but you can't come back in within the period. Jabe, he's got Okunlola on the switch. He sees him. Okunlola cuts in. Finds the feet of Meinhard. Nice ball. Okunlola's got a chance. Tries to dink it in the path, but played out by Zinhart.
If Okunlola picks up his head, he'll see Duquesne wide open at the far post. When you get to the end line like that, you have to readjust where you play the ball. Carolina, so many players. They have 3 defenders recovering back to that goal line or within the 6. If you change or readjust where your service is, the far post is always going to be open.
Mohamed Sylla back in the match. As we mentioned, 6'3", physical frame.
Arthur Duquesne on the corner.
Cortez, not a great punch. He wants more of it, and he will get it. Carolina has 3 substitutes waiting to come in the match. I don't know if they're going to get here. We're at 65 seconds left in the first overtime period.
1 minute remaining in the first overtime period.
Farrell floats it toward Vician. There's a creative little touch, but Jabe read it. Sylla, the goal scorer, well defended by Charlie Harper.
Have to get that right. If Ousmane Sylla can get turned facing forward or evade that tackle, and you do have the forward running of Mohamed Sylla in advance of him.
Sylla tried to keep it in, did. Under 30 seconds now. Good turn by Lundegaard. See if they'll be content or they'll try to push something forward. We're at 20 seconds. Pinged out to Okunlola. Looking for the channel for Meinhard. We're at 10. He might be able to get a cross off. He will. Cortez is there. Say goes down in the box. Shabdarov waves it off. The Clemson bench is upset, but we'll take a look and see if there's much to complain about there.
I don't think many referees are going to give a penalty late on.
Dimitar Shabdarov, our center official. And we're playing 10 minutes, no matter what. There is no golden goal. And if we are still even at the end, we are going to penalties. Clemson beat Duke in penalties in their quarterfinal matchup. North Carolina's won all 3 of their tournament games in regulation. Now, a number of subs have come in for Carolina here. Daniel Cooch has checked in the game, 42, the junior playing up front.
They replaced 9. Martin Vician, 11.
Ahmad Al-Kwak is back in the game.
And 20, Ernest Bava.
As well, Al-Kwak was critical in their goal that was scored.
Check lower. Check lower. David higher.
David Bercedo in the match as well. He came back in. So a number of different players. And Cooch came in. He actually coming off a game where he scored a goal in the Syracuse game. The game you called, Michael. That was, I'm going to say, a huge goal.
It was impressive. It was playing in a different position, though. He's got versatility and his physical frame. You look at him, you think, okay, he's a center forward, but he played as a winger in that game, and it was making a lung-busting run on the right flank. He's got long strides, but it's the acceleration in the final third that's what set up the goal. And he didn't look like a player who was coming off the bench at all. He looked like a mainstay with the finish.
See if the junior from Alabama can affect anything here. Duquesne trying to play it down the channel, plays it out of bounds. And because there's no more overtime in college soccer, and this was obviously the first tournament experience, North Carolina's not played in penalties. Back to Andema. Good distribution. Sylla finds a feet to say. Oh, he had the right idea. Excuse me, Famba, and Sylla wandered offside.
It's good up, back through. And it all is because they have a focal point. And Mohamed Sylla, Clemson changing how they play. With Say in there, you're going to see more entry passes into him and then playing back to the midfield for runners off his shoulder. With him out of there, it's Ousmane Sylla floating to find half spaces as a false 9.
Bercedo. All right, a little reverse pass, didn't come off. Riley Thomas, the right back, continues his run. Creative idea.
A little bit of ball watching from Andrew Czech. Maybe got stunned by the pirouette turn from Thomas. It happens to the best of us.
As a player, you won a national championship at Wake Forest back in 2007. When you're in these games, are you thinking about penalties looming? Like, does that come into your mind at all, or are you trying to be locked into winning it now?
At this point, you're locked into winning it now. I'd say that's a message that comes from your leaders, your captains, your Riley Thomas for Carolina. You think of your Lundegaard and co for your Clemsons, but you have to smell blood in the water. There's a sense of urgency that starts creeping in. And for Clemson, there seems to be a greater sense of urgency in this overtime period. But you're playing for a half chance. And you know that can be the difference.
And Joseph Van Damon did a great job goalkeeping in that penalty shootout. His ball's played out to Sylla. Sylla wants to get on that right foot. He comes back. Duquesne was offside, so he didn't play him. Now he dinks in looking for Say! Got his head on it, just couldn't quite direct it. That's why the grad student from Spain could be a difference maker.
Thought this was going to be the moment. Ousmane Sylla just weaving his magic on this left-hand side. He cuts back a few times and stuns this entire Carolina side. Look at how many defenders he draws to them, and that's what creates the space for Mohamed Say. Say creates separation, and you can do that shoulder to shoulder, using that arm to create that separation, but didn't get enough of power on the header.
Nice little reverse pass again, but well read.
You there. Yeah.
And Vitchian will come back in the match as well, the goal scorer. You see Quinn Clausen warming up right now, the junior. Now, he was their first choice keeper, different injury issues. He has not been in a game since September 19th when they played UNCW. He's played 4 games this year, starting 3, but he's warming up. And you've seen this done before, maybe most famously by Louis Van Gaal. It was 2014 World Cup. Tim Krul comes in a penalty shootout second before the game ends, and the Netherlands wins in a penalty shootout, and I think the quarterfinals of World Cup. But obviously, if he's the better keeper for Pens, he will be able to defend those. I believe Joseph Van Dame obviously doing it once and doing a good job. He ain't going anywhere, but it's not an easy job to warm up and come in cold off the bench to maybe save the day in the goal and the sticks.
Sometimes it doesn't give you time to even think about it, though. And that shortness of thought, that shortness of transition can be the best thing for you. For a penalty kick taker, it can be an absolute nightmare because you're going up against a guy you have no clue what he's about, and he's been watching you play for 110 minutes.
If we go to penalties, I have a couple other questions on that, but we'll stay here and now because these 22 men on the field don't want Pens. They would like to end it right now. And Say again, causing a little trouble, able to play it forward to Sylla and then play it out to touch by Harper. Harper, the sophomore from Australia. And out for a goal kick.
Good positioning and defending from Riley Thomas, who's really grown in this overtime period, grown in the second half. It's difficult to go up against Ousmane Sylla. Sylla, low center of gravity, so creative, so shifty. Thomas is up to task.
Vitchian called for the foul on Chifamba. We are 3 minutes from the final being determined by penalties. Last time that happened, 2017. Wake Forest beat UVA in Pens. Check closes down Duquesne. The bench comes to life by stopping the service from the midfield.
As long as Check comes to life, it's all that matters.
You ain't lying. Lundegaard and hooks it out. Under 2.5. Brought down by Jabay. 2 minutes left. Charlie Harper, center back for North Carolina, just got up the middle of the field. He's sprinting back now to get into play. Duquesne clips it across, finds Okunlola. His pass picked off. And looking for Vitchian, but he's miles offside. So Gibert will just push it forward. Lundegaard. .90 seconds left. Sylla, creative touch to get it to Meinhard.
Carolina being under the cosh. Oh, here comes Clemson.
Chifamba finds Meinhard, good touch. Wanted to leave it for Sylla, but well read by Czech. Down to 60 seconds.
1 minute remaining in the second overtime period.
Well, last time we saw penalties here on the men's side, Syracuse won a national championship. Today, one ACC team's going home happy, one sad.
So both exhausted.
No doubt.
This has been end-to-end stuff. See, neither side. Clemson, I said before, doesn't want this game to end, but with 30 seconds left, you have to start thinking about penalties, and both coaches have already been thinking about it from the previous huddle.
Obviously, the last couple weeks, both teams have told us that they are practicing penalties every day. Try not to do too much because you get in guys' heads, and obviously the same keeper, they know what you like, and that can mess with the guy's confidence. You don't want that. Well, we're heading there.
3, 2,
For the first time since 2017, this final will be decided from the spot. On the year, North Carolina's 4-5. Armand's made 2 for 2. Bawal 1 for 1. Alquak 1 for 2. They've not faced any penalties for Clemson. They were 4-4 in the season. The captain was toe the line, dealing with injuries. Couldn't play the end of this second overtime. That's it. Gets the Tigers off, and the pyrotechnics behind the goal, too, getting involved. 1-0.
And quiets the DJ just in time for the penalty. It's a good penalty from Parrish. When he's leaning in to strike the ball, there's a bit of that hesitation, slowing it down, waiting to see where the goalkeeper goes. He puts in the opposite corner.
Sam Williams now. His first penalty he's taken all year at the biggest time. And Dama the keeper. Right down the middle.
The attempt is good.
Good penalty from Williams. The underclassman looking very much like a veteran with how he took it. You've seen that stutter step, and that change of pace to when he goes up to step and hit it. Yet again, another penalty where the goalkeeper goes first, and then the penalty kick taker takes a shot.
Sylla took 2 in the regular season, 2 for 2. You see Williams right down the pipe. Took it to the left of the goalkeeper against Duke. And Julian Eystone, the 6'7" goalie that was playing that Duke game. Let's see what he does here. Quinn Clausen, 5'11" goalie in the frame. Goal scorer in the game, goal scorer now in that same corner. A little different shot, though, he had in the regulation.
But same execution, same result. He was never going to miss this, never doubt that he was going to miss this. A bit of swagger afterwards, a bit of a celebration, but keep an eye on this. Strolls up to the ball, but then the body language opens up his body, slots it in, and that half step there is what creates the unbalancing. Sylla knows that he's got a goal from the penalty.
Huerman, the goal scorer for Carolina in this game in the 49th minute, 2 for 2 on pens in the year. Looking to equalize. Ooh! Nobody saving that.
The attempt is good.
Wow.
As Bill Rafferty would say, onions, top corner.
Well, the Andema getting it out of the old onion bag. There's some zip, there's some fire, there's some venom. That's a perfect penalty. It goes to absolute top bins. The ripple of the back of the net. Wow. That's class right there from the Frenchman. Sam Williams loves it.
Another Frenchman strolls to the spot. Jean Gibet. First penalty he's taken. He took one against Duke. He goes the other way this time. Beautiful. Just, he looks like he's going for a stroll in the park.
Yeah, down the Champs-Élysées maybe. This is quality penalties we've seen so far. That half hesitation there, full hesitation if you will. Waiting again, so difficult as a goalkeeper. You're there, you're on pins and needles. You're trying to read the body language of your opposing kick taker, and sometimes you just need to dive one side and hope for the best. But
Matt Edwards, local product from Apex, North Carolina, the junior. Trying to knock this thing at 3. Short, straightforward run up, looks like. Now he'll go wide. Bite! And Dama celebrates the miss. Edwards shakes his head.
it never looked confident. He never looked promising. And you said it, Dallin, about the run-up. I hate this when I see this. Going square to the ball. The short run-up, he was leaning backwards. Sometimes you get in your own head. Didn't look like he knew where he wanted to go, and I think it shows in the penalty. When you're indecisive like that, your mechanics are going to go off, and it's going to result in you kicking out of the stadium.
Gibert to take. He went to the right of the goalkeeper in the corner against Duke, against that 6'7" frame of Eyestone. What does he do here? Rolls it. Puts him up 4-2. They must score here.
The experience at Clemson paying off. Just about every penalty kick taker, I think every penalty kick taker for the Tigers has a loads of experience, and it shows. Passing it into the bottom corner, not fazed by the moment, not fazed by the need to score.
Vitchian has to score to keep this alive. The grad student transfer from Harvard. Slovakia native. Oh! Goes high, and Dama ain't getting there either. Keeps the heels in it, forces the pressure back onto the Tigers.
I think maybe Superman would have been the only person alive to try and stop that, and he would have struggled. Another zipped in. Wow. Zips that in. The technique hits it with a plum.
Meinhard at the spot. Third team all-conference, a transfer from Tulsa, former offensive player of the year. Came here to play in the ACC at the highest level, and can he hand them the trophy? He does! Clausen got a piece, but it's not enough. The Tigers are champions yet again of the ACC.